onto the longest stone bridge in England. In fact, the longest inland bridge of any type in England, and it was built mostly in the 13th century. Think of that, built in the 1200s, started over 800 years ago. Swarkestone Bridge in Derbyshire. Hello and welcome to the ride. A scheduled ancient monument nearly a mile long, built of local sandstone to cross the River Trent and the surrounding marshes. It's obviously been patched up and repaired over the centuries, widened in parts, but essentially this is a medieval bridge for most of its length. To me, here in dry weather, much of it might be classed as a causeway, but when the Trent floods, bridge is the better description. Anyway, it's celebrated as the longest stone bridge by those who should know. Look it up. And it's given me a great ride to a fascinating destination target worth exploring. For centuries, this was the Midlands' main crossing point of the Trent. I'd say it still remains pretty important today, judging by the amount of traffic using it. Okay, dropping down from the bridge now and into Swarkestone village, passing by the Crewe and Harper Arms on the left. You might be forgiven for thinking that this is all that can be seen of the village, but the map shows there is more to see, with locations that offer views of the ancient bridge. Okay, a little further on the A514 and turning down a lane called Church Lane, which itself suggests there's more of the village to see. And indeed, there's the church. And near the church, the medieval settlement, or at least its ground plan, which predominantly faces the river, having never been drawn to the road. Presumably there was a living to be made from the river. I'll try and capture something of the full extent of the bridge from here. Zooming in on the village of Stanton By Bridge at the south end of the river. There's the bridge crossing what can be a flooded plain. And there's the bridge over the Trent proper. More on that later. Moving up a little to see what other views might be had. That great arched bridge over the Trent proper is the modern part. The old bridge at this point was destroyed by violent storms and flooding in 1795, to be replaced in 1797. Okay, this is the eastern side of the bridge. Now to see what can be seen from the western side. Back on the bridge and turning right in search of a vantage point from the west. Just look how busy this ancient crossing is. And here's access to the footpath that's marked on the OS map. Given the strategic nature of this bridge, you won't be surprised to know that a civil war battle was fought here. But more interestingly, in 1745, Swarkestone Bridge was the southernmost point of Bonny Prince Charlie's advance on London in his attempt to claim the British throne. This bridge was chosen for the crossing of the Trent by the army from the north as it planned to move south to the victory it might well have achieved. Scouts would probably have stood at the same vantage points as I have today and elsewhere in the village, sizing up the prospects of shifting the entire army across the bridge, the time it would take, what opposition they might expect. Once over the bridge, they would have been heavily committed to an attack on London. Any retreat after crossing might easily have been cut off at this bridge. Other Trent crossings at the time were in heavily defended towns like Nottingham and Newark. But it was on the north side of the Trent that the prince's generals and clan chiefs got cold feet about the whole enterprise and retreated back north. In my opinion, apart from not gaining any further support the further they moved south, they feared that once over the bridge there would be no second opportunity to retreat should the need arise. This river bridge leads onto what has been described earlier as the Stone Causeway, with occasional flood arches, largely medieval, but widened over the centuries, well before anyone ever imagined heavy motor traffic using the bridge. And there you see a pair of pointed arches, making this the very oldest part of the bridge, and it's still carrying tons of traffic day after day. Right, joining the bridge again to travel south this time. All roads have a history that's usually interesting, but it's at places like Swarkestone Bridge that the history becomes most apparent. And who knows what turn history might have taken if Bonny Prince Charlie and his supporters from the north had crossed this bridge. Okay, no one in front or behind, allowing the luxury of a slow ride over the bridge to let the history soak in. Thanks for riding along with me today. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please like, subscribe, perhaps even share. I'll then let you know when I'm next out and about. For now, I'm done.